up, everybody? How you guys doing?
Welcome back.
to a new episode of
Critical
the
and Thinking Podcast.
I'm Ty Barnett.
I'm Ian Harris, and
Woo!
all right, the news does not slow down.
Ever,
Ever,
bro. I'm honestly, and I keep saying I'm gonna say this every time until it's not true. We have been in a constant cycle of shit happening
Right,
for 3 years now, almost.
right.
Constant. Like there is never. Let me ask you something, Ian. When's the last time you remember nothing happening that you should talk about? Nothing, or nothing major.
Oh, I can't. I don't remember. I don't remember that far back.
I
think.
cannot. Every week is something. Every goddamn.
But that's actually what I wanted to bring up today.
Yes.
Because we always talk about trying to keep it not go down the political road, not go crazy, and it's impossible. We admit that it's
Yes.
impossible. But here's
What up, Lil Rob?
here is something that I thought of that I thought I'd like to really try to do.
What's
and I
that?
started this with a Facebook post, and I want to continue the Facebook post here today, but also I want to, for future, I want to think about this. I'm fine. We got to keep talking politics. We got to keep being
What up,
funny.
Mike? What up, Kim?
We got to keep
What up,
doing
Lil Rob?
all the stuff we normally do. All right?
Yes.
But I want to make it positive. How do we spin this stuff positive?
How?
How do maybe we get people out to vote? Maybe we talk about the positive aspects of things. Okay, so we got a shooting. Sure, that's not a positive thing. But what positive can we talk? How can we keep that positive? How can we talk about gun control or legislation or other things without getting too negative and being like, fuck this motherfucker? Because it's so hard, but it really doesn't help. It really doesn't help. I know it's hard, man. I'm trying, but
so wait. I'm sorry. What do you want me to do?
keep it positive. I'm trying. It's hard. It's hard.
Okay.
It's hard with this narcissistic
All right, let's do it.
douchebag. And see, I
So-
just did it again. But no, look. Here's the thing. But I also started this thing on my Facebook the other day and yesterday, and it got a pretty good response. And I want to see if people who are
Right.
tuning in. Obviously, if you're downloading this and you're listening to iTunes, you can't chime in. But if you're on Facebook right now, I posed this question to everybody. I said, what is it that you are doing positive? And when I say that, it doesn't mean it could be for the world. You could be out saving sea lions. I don't know.
Right.
It could be, hey man.
Hashtag don't club them.
Some people said I smile and make eye contact with people. Cool.
That helps.
Like, what is it that you consciously do to make the world a better place as often as you can?
Well,
and if nothing, why not? Are you at least trying?
I will tell you what I do in keeping with your message of keeping everything positive. So what I try to do is I positively make sure I call out all these motherfuckers. Let me tell you. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry. I don't know. You know what? What I do, what I still have because I cannot not do this. I was raised this way. You know, I was raised by mostly women, so I open doors still.
Right.
I say hi and you know, smile to people. And it goes a long way. You know what's crazy, dude? I was at a party the other day, and there was a guy there from South Carolina.
Right.
Right. And in my mind, like, part of me wanted to just assume that this dude is a supporter of that guy and all of this stuff. But then we got to talking about more stuff, and he told me the story about his fingers and how he healed his fingers with this magical thing. And, dude, it became this great conversation. But anyway, the point is that the conversation became so engaging, and you could tell that this dude was uncomfortable around these people. He had, like, a thick accent, like Southern accent.
Right.
But I did my best to make this dude feel comfortable around other people and
Right.
everybody in the party. So I do stuff like that because what we got to realize is that we have more things in common than not.
Right.
So I do my little thing like that, saying hi to people, smiling, especially with, like, when they have dogs. Like, it's so much easier to talk to people when they have dogs.
Sure.
Like, you know, you're welcome. Some people mess it up though, and they'll speak to only the dog. Like,
Your owner's a son of a bitch, isn't he?
And they'd be like,
You're like, you know, I try to find common ground. So when I meet with a guy with a MAGA hat on, I punch myself in the face.
Hilarious,
I arrest
hilarious.
myself. I choke myself unconscious.
hilarious. No, so because people don't
Common
realize
ground.
that hilarious. But people don't realize that it is small things like that that will sometimes it changes people's days. Like you've gotten messages before, and it's like, hey man, I went and saw your show, and it was great. You know, I was in a shitty mood. So as comedians, that's what we normally try to do anyway.
And it sounds not. By the way, Mary over here on my page said that she cares for the dying and bereaved families. That's really cool.
Oh,
That is
wow,
a
that's
really cool
awesome.
thing to do. I heard.
Let us know what you guys are doing
I had
out there.
an aunt out there that said she does hospice care for people for like the last 13 years. Here's
Tarika says, I am motivating and encouraging children and anyone I encounter. I believe positivity breeds positivity.
That's good.
It all starts with a smile. That's
true.
exactly right, Tarika.
And here's the thing is
unless you ain't got no teeth, then it is a problem.
Well, no, actually, you know what? That's positive because I walk away going, I'm better off than that guy.
Hilarious.
Okay. I've got 3 more teeth than that guy. But
yeah, so you spread the message another way. I got you. That's another way.
But the thing is, to me, it's like it sounds narcissistic, and it doesn't have to be. But it's like, I was thinking about that. I'm like, what am I actually doing?
Right.
How come I'm not going down and to where these kids are being held captive and whatever, and protesting or getting a group of people to go and bust kids out of being in cages? Or why am I not going and registering voters door to door? Like, why am I not doing that stuff? And I mean, obviously, part of it's laziness, part of it's time. I don't have a lot of time. Part of it is the fact that it's overwhelming to go, wow, this is a huge thing. What could I would run for office if I had any freaking clue how to do that.
I've often thought about running for office, and every time I think about it, the next thought is I got to make sure that, you go through your history, like, okay, did I ever do anything? Okay, no, I can run for office.
Yeah, exactly.
I can run for office. Okay,
but you don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah.
They're like, so Ty, have you ever murdered or killed anybody? A couple of them. You know what? You're still better than the president. So you're all right.
But that is something.
Grabbed any pussies this week?
I have actually thought about running for office.
Yeah.
Like a local, not anything major, but like a local office.
Right.
Because you actually, I did not. So for the people listening and watching, I didn't know he was going to say any of this today. So this is all new to me. Like, I didn't know that I had to think about what did I do positive in the world.
And that's the thing.
Running for local office.
But even the small stuff, like I said, not to sound narcissistic, like, well, I make people happy every day by getting on stage and telling my amazing jokes.
That is a big deal, though.
But you know what? It is. This podcast is something. Whatever. Like somebody said, we said smiling at somebody and all these things, if your intention is to make things better, you are doing something. And the trick is to intend to do something and be conscious.
Somebody's hand. I'm sorry. Make this world a better place. If we can't, do we have to pay for that? We don't have to pay for that.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Okay,
keep it under 6 seconds. Sorry, keep it under 6 seconds. But it's are we after here? But I think yeah. So anybody else out there, if you're out there, please let us know what things are.
What are you doing to make positive change in the world? We need it more than ever.
And again, it could be, hey, my kid is a shithead, and I'm doing everything I can to make sure my kid doesn't kill somebody. Cool, thank you. That's great.
You saved some lives.
Right. Or it could be something like, hey, I'm marching. I'm taking food to homeless people. Like,
let me tell you, here's what I admire the most about the older generation, like our ancestors and stuff like that, is if they had a cause, they really had a cause, and like you knew it. Like they went to Ace Hardware or whatever hardware store they did. They got the equipment for the sign, the markers, and all that stuff. Sometimes the shoes probably weren't even comfortable, but they cared about it so much that they would be out there for hours at a time, marching and walking and stuff like that. I'm like, that is, and you see it some here too. You do.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. You do see it here, but I also feel like there's sometimes with that generation was so hardcore that they're like, nope, I'm not getting on the bus until they until they pay me respect and let me sit where I want to sit. And that bus boycott went on for a while.
Right.
I mean, people walking to work, and could you imagine? It was somebody.
I know,
it had to be somebody that's like.
Nowadays, people are like, I'm gonna boycott Instagram, and then it's like, it's been 3 minutes, I haven't posted. Never mind.
I know, right? Exactly. But like,
hardships
could you
are real.
imagine being that hilarious? Could you imagine being that person? You want to take the bus, but
Right.
you can't. He's like, nah. It's like, women. So, yeah, you guys want us to just walk this entire time? Like, yeah, don't you want the fucking right to sit wherever you want to sit? I do, man, but I'm really hoping we can get this shit done like in a week.
Yeah.
Like, we can do
If
this.
I wasn't boycotting Nike, I'd have better walking shoes.
Right. I can't march in these goddamn church shoes. So, but
I'm boycotting Nike a third time. When did you stop boycotting them?
it's like, oh,
I don't know. About a week after I
it's,
boycotted them the first time.
Yeah, but then they came out with these new Jordans, and
I was like, you know what? Fuck civil rights.
Exactly. I got these silver Nikes. Anyway, I hope that people do it more because like here's what a lot of people don't understand. Like we watch some of the same movies, we listen to the same music, we watch some of the same TV shows. Like every time example, like when I tell people how big of a fan I am of Married with Children, sometimes it trips them out that I know the show that well. And I'm like, and there was not a black. I mean, Griff came along later, and it was a cop that was on there every once in a while. But it was mostly a white cast, and people when they see that, they're like, "Oh man, I can't believe you love that show." I'm like, I love that show. I'm a huge fan of the show. But then they tell me something about something that they like. Some of the same music. My whole point is that like we really do a lot of the same shit as human beings. Like we love great food, great wine. You know what I'm saying?
Which is funny you bring up Married with Children because one of the reasons that show was so successful is because as exaggerated and ridiculous as it was a slice of Americana.
Oh yeah.
Like everybody can relate to.
They said it was the Not Cosbys. That's actually
Right.
the name was gonna be Not the Cosbys.
Huh.
That was because they wanted to be like we're fucked up here.
Well, it's the same thing with The Simpsons. I mean, The Simpsons are people. I remember. Oh, they're so disrespectful, and it's so. And these kids are brats. And I'm like, that's. Have you been to America?
Those real kids. What are you talking about? Kim says this isn't something that makes the world better, but I strive to be a good listener and not give unsolicited advice.
That makes.
That's actually that's great. You know what? Let me tell you why that's a great thing, Kim. Let me tell you
I'm
right
sorry.
now.
What'd she say?
Exactly. Let me tell you why that's an awesome thing that you're a good listener. And the advice thing, I get that too. But
Can I tell you how to do it better? By the way,
hilarious.
I'm gonna keep doing that.
But being a good listener, you know why that's a big deal is because when people don't feel like someone cares about their feelings, then it affects their mood. But if they feel like someone's really listening to them and really cares about what they're saying, they really go out there like, man, I'm glad I was able to get that off my chest. Thank you so much. And that's why eye contact makes a big difference. And repeating stuff back. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's the traditional guy way of pretending that you're listening. And you know how we do that, every couple of words, like, oh, really? Oh, it's crazy. Wow. But we're not doing that. You say you really do listen, and that's what's awesome.
The worst thing to me is when somebody is waiting for their turn to talk.
Really?
You know what I mean? When you're talking to somebody and they're just like, you can tell that they're not listening to anything you say. They've already formulated it. You can tell they've formulated in their head what they're about to say, and they're like waiting for their moment to jump in, and they jump in, and you're like,
wow.
Were you even paying attention to anything?
That's crazy.
Yeah, right? By the way.
No, I know what you mean.
By the way,
that's true.
Corey said everyone boycotting Nike couldn't run a lap if you paid them.
Exactly.
That may be true. But once they light those Nikes on fire, woo, they run
Oh, my God.
They got run to the pool.
But no, you're right.
Take them off your shoes first, rednecks.
When you can tell when
Take them
someone's...
off your shoes first. Off your feet. Take
yes,
your shoes.
do not...
Don't light them
while
on
they're
fire
on.
with their on. That's...
But you can tell when someone is just waiting to say the next thing. And that is a huge difference. There's right. You know what it happens a lot? In L.A. You ever, like, they always say, like, the traditional... Like a conversation in like the Midwest or South where people are really into talking to people was like, oh, really? Nice. Oh, you say you had a hip situation. How's your hip? It's better? Yeah. Oh, great. That's awesome.
Right.
That same conversation in L.A. is like, oh, you had a hip thing? That's what's up, bro. Yeah, cool. Is that, oh, you got to...
They always look. Oh, I like when they look around for someone more important to talk to.
Yes.
They're like, yeah. What's up, Ty? Yeah, no, it's cool. It's cool. But or the sometimes what I'll do is like, if I really feel someone's doing that, if I know them, not obviously if I'm not talking to some executive who's going to ruin my career or something like that, but if it's somebody that I know and I do that, I'll start saying crazy nonsense.
Just to see
if they're paying attention. So I'm like, the other day I was like praising Satan and I had this, I was sacrificing a baby.
Wow.
And yeah. No, that's cool. That's cool. I do that too sometimes.
Hilarious. Tarika says it has to start somewhere, and I believe that world is changing. You listening to others is something many don't do. Yeah, that's absolutely right because it's especially like it's harder to listen to people when you're dealing with your own shit, and that's what the problem is with a lot of
Right.
things today. Like a lot of people are dealing with their own shit, and it's hard to put things in perspective enough for you to say, okay, I'm gonna listen to this person because you may gain something from what they tell you. Like they
Right.
may tell you something that's going on with them, and it may take you out of your mindset. Like I've had situations where I talk to people and they tell me something that's going on with them, and I'll be honest with you. Initially, I'm not really into hearing what they have to say, but
Right.
then they'll say something, and I'm like, whoa. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Like, and then I'm like, okay, so it takes me away from my own thing, and I'm listening to them, and now I'm in like, oh, let me see what I can do for you. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
and then in that conversation, it may come back. So I think
And then
more.
you're like, you know what? Hold up. Save that thought. I'm gonna get off my phone for a second.
I know, right?
That's the word when you're talking to somebody. They're like, oh
Is
yeah,
there
yeah,
an app
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so I can pretend that I give a fuck about what you're saying? Is that one of them things? Can they
Yes.
develop one of those? There'll be just an app and it'll be a person like just your voice like, uh-huh, yeah,
Yeah.
right.
That's crazy. That's it. You just hit the button. That's crazy.
That's what I'm gonna call the app. That's crazy.
yeah.
That's just like okay.
For real? For real? For real? I thought I hit that's crazy. Never mind. For real.
Wow, bro. It's it's a cool
So-
story, bro.
But yeah, keep chiming in things that you do. Anyone out there, things that you do that make the world a better place. Things you do that make your anyone feel better about themselves. That make that, what do
Let me
you,
ask
what
you
do,
this:
what do you want to do?
what did somebody do for you? What up, John? What up, Eric? What did somebody do for you personally that helped you? That made you feel better?
I mean, man, it's so hard to think because I feel like probably happens all the time, and I don't.
Give a fuck.
Yeah. No, it happened. If I had to sit down, I have to really sit down and think about some major thing where it's like, oh, remember when so and so did this major thing? But I feel like little things happen all the time, and we
Right.
don't necessarily think about them. I know for people in my gym, man, I got people come in and do stuff for me all the time, just like if I that because they are showing
I still
their-
compliment people.
they're showing appreciation for what I do with them, whatever. So they'll be like, "Hey, coach, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do," and so I see like the young fighters helping me out. I mean, I've had in my comedy career many times, people give me a gig that make a phone call for me when I need. Hey, I need to
Dope.
get into this comedy club. I'll make a phone call for you. Those little things like that,
They add up.
they help, and you remember that stuff later on. You know what I
That's
mean?
true.
One thing I do is, and I don't specifically do this for anybody. Just I think it's partly for my own sanity, and partly because I just think we just need to try to set an example. I try not to drive like a complete asshole.
Which is huge in Los
I
Angeles.
let people
bro.
in. I don't try to cut in front of the fucking line. I don't, if someone's got their blinker on, they're trying to get over. I give them space so that it's like I
And
try to be a fucking
You know what's
decent human
crazy
being.
about the chain reaction of that though, which is weird because you stopping to let the person go through is great for the person trying to go through, but the person behind you is like, look at this asshole.
Oh, I know.
Like-
The weird, I feel the stares sometimes when like somebody will let me in, and I'll come over, and then somebody else will want to get in, and I stop to let them in, and I know the person behind me is like, "Motherfucker, I just let you in. Now you're gonna let this guy in?"
Yeah.
Like I can see him like
Well,
raging in the
even
back. It's
though-
like, well, yeah, I got to repay the favor.
That's
but-
when I know I can get in though. Like if you're trying to merge and you see somebody, I always go for the person that they let in. Like I'm like, hey man, you can't be a dick. Like
Right.
if they just let you in, you gotta let me in. That's the
Right.
rule, bro. So I always go whenever I see the person that they let get in, that's the first person I try to
Right.
get in front of. I'm like, come on, bro.
Yeah.
Pay it forward.
Pay it forward, man. You got a bumper sticker, pay it forward.
That's
Right.
it.
Huh?
That's it. Pay it forward, man. Come
But
on.
it's that kind of stuff to me is now I will say it's annoying when all of a sudden everybody takes advantage. Sometimes it's happened to me where I've stopped to let somebody who's been sitting there to make a left turn forever.
Yeah, I'm not doing everybody.
I'll let them go, and all of a sudden, this fucking parade of people
Yeah,
making
we're
left
not
turn.
doing everybody.
My light's red,
I
green
give you
again, yellow
one.
again, red again. I'm like, come on.
I give you one. You get
like-
one. You get one car in front of me. That's it. I've already paid it forward
Right.
with the one. I'm not letting the whole parade of people go through.
I've sometimes like when you open the door for somebody, and all of a sudden you're the door monitor. That's
You know what? I don't mind opening door things because that's just how I was raised,
Right.
and I'm used to that. The thing I don't like is the non-appreciation of it.
oh, dude.
I don't like that. I don't, and you know what? And,
You want to see me go off?
when somebody
Yeah.
doesn't say thank you. Come on, man. And I'm not asking.
I go, I'm
you-
not the doorman, bitch. Like
Yeah,
what?
hilarious. Make this world a better. Sorry, but I don't like that part. Like, come
Right.
on. If you see the doors being held for you, I'm not wearing a uniform. Like you said, I don't work
Right.
here. So
And
at
even
least
if
have
you
the
do
courtesy.
work there, you can
Yeah,
still
that's
fucking
true.
say thank
That's
you.
True. That's true. But
Right.
yeah, but I mean, at least in that case, it's more understood because people are like, that's your job to do it.
Right,
But
for
if
sure,
someone's
for sure.
doing it for you, you know, I will tell you, I did my best to pay something forward not too long ago with a neighbor down the street, and I felt bad. Well, no, I'll tell you. So I'll tell you real quick. So I saw her. You know, I'm a dog lover. I have a soft spot in my heart for pets, but this old lady, and I could tell that she didn't have control of her dog. So I had to make sure her dog didn't run in the street. So I walked up to her, but she's moving so slow, bro. I'm like, how did you even get outside
Right.
with all this? So I get the dog. The dog is barking at me, and I'm looking at the dog like, yo, bro,
Yeah.
I'm the good guy. I'm trying to help you out here, you know. But so I can't run. I
You know,
can't.
sorry, Sonny, I trained him to attack black people.
Right. So I tried to get her into her apartment, and she's like, hey, oh, thank you. You know, I just had a rough life, and like she's trying to tell me her story.
Right.
And I'm like, whoa. I didn't say this to her, but in my head, I'm like, that's not what I didn't come here for that. Like I came to get you and your dog into the house safely. I don't want to do the whole, because then if I engage in conversation with you with the whole story,
Right.
then I got to be like, oh, so why do people treat you bad? I'm like, whoa. Yeah, so I'm like, oh, you know, so I give the standard greeting, which I did care for this lady's well-being. I just didn't need to know the whole story. So I was just
Right.
like, oh, wow, you know what? Well, you seem like an awesome lady to me. You know, and I mean, it's cool. And every time she tried to go into a whole story, I'm like, wow, that's rough. Hey, let's get you in here. And the closer we got up into her place, there's a smell that was coming from the place. And I could look inside, and I saw that, you know, she's hoarderish. You know, yeah,
Oh.
exactly, right? So once I got the dog in, and I already had to start saying to myself, I was like, all right, I am not walking in there. I'm not coming in, none of that. She's like, well, just come on in and have a seat. And I'm like, no, I really have to go and get back to my dogs.
I gotta do that
You know,
thing.
yeah, I got to go do something. But I did my part to get her inside.
Yeah.
But the other part was I was like, there was no fucking way.
Right.
I was going inside that fucking definitely not sitting down. I had to wipe myself off just to be sure.
It would've been-
you know, I'm OCD like that, bro.
It sounds like it's the new Jordan Peele movie or whatever. You get in there and she hoards people that helped her home.
Oh, see, and I'm like, my head's just like,
They're all stuffed and on her wall.
God damn it.
These are all the other men who helped me get back to my
And
room.
he starts saying,
Would you like some lemonade?
Kim said, I do that too. Too much road rage. On July 12th, my daughter was 50. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, wow.
Because she tapped the. Oh, I am so sorry to hear that, Kim.
Wow.
Is she okay? Hey, Laura, how are you? And you know what?
I hope the other person's in fucking
Okay,
jail.
you
know?
I want to talk about the person, but we can't talk about it because we said we're going to do
No,
positive stuff.
but
today.
no, putting an assaulter in jail is positive.
Yes.
That's the positive spin.
Yes.
And the good thing is he got life in prison.
Yeah. Right.
Positively.
Yeah, right. We know that. They probably get that dude like a year,
And
maybe.
somebody made a profit. It's a for-profit prison.
You know what's crazy? You know
By the
what?
way, they're getting rid of for-profit prisons. Which state was it? There was one of the states, even California. There was one of the states that just passed. Colorado. It's Colorado. Colorado is now outlawing for-profit prisons.
You know, Colorado, between the weed and that,
Dude, they're so
man,
progressive. They also
Colorado is like, what's up?
Colorado also passed another super progressive. Oh, they just they legalized mushrooms.
You know, okay. Now let me tell you this.
That's
I don't know.
freaking
I've never
progressive.
done mushrooms, and I think I'm too scared to even try because I hear, he said no, the bitch is free.
What?
Yeah, that's crazy.
That is not cool. Did they
That's
at least press? Hopefully, they at least press charges, and they.
I hope that yeah.
Did they just not catch her, or did they catch
Was
her
it
and let her
wait,
go?
wait.
Gotta know.
Wait, was it a guy or a girl that did it?
The bitch is free, and it was a girl that got a tag. It's got to be a woman.
Oh no, the bitch. Well, no, she could have been the dude. I mean, the dude
Well,
was
yeah,
a
man,
bitch.
yeah.
But I'm assuming it's a woman. Maybe that's why she's free. Because if it was a dude and they just let him go, it's like, God damn, bro.
Unless they didn't let, maybe she assaulted her and took off, and they didn't catch her. Maybe they didn't even let her.
No, she said free. She would have said if she got away, but plus I don't think Kim would have allowed that. Kim would have hunted her down, and I know Kim. Believe me, Kim wasn't gonna let this shit slide.
No, didn't catch her.
Whoa.
Yeah. Wow. Hit and run. Hit, assault and run. That's crazy. Well, not hit, I guess. Well, hit. Psh. Wow, that's crazy.
So like I said, I think. So to mushrooms. I almost lost my train of thought there. I have never tried mushrooms, and I keep hearing all these stories about mushrooms, but every story I've heard about mushrooms scares me. Like, I've never heard a story about mushrooms that doesn't sound like you have to be in a room where it's locked and there's no sharp objects or anything extra. But like for them to legalize it, they must not be that bad, I guess.
No, I mean it's not that big of a deal. But for me, I don't do anything. I don't like anything that I can't control my own brain. Like that's how I am.
Yep.
Like whatever any kind of thing where it's like I'm out of control or I can't just go, okay, I'm done with this and end it. No, not gonna do it. Not my thing, man.
Laura, because Ian
what are we talking about today?
Ian said that he wants to remain positive on this episode.
Positivity.
So that's what we're talking about this episode. So that's what we're talking about.
We're talking about what have you done? What do you do consciously? What have you done? What you plan on doing?
Laura might actually give you some good advice because I see her Facebook page. She's always trying to post good stuff. So go ahead, ask her.
We're trying to figure out what everyone does to make change in the world, to be a better person. It could be a little thing like something you do with somebody you know, like I smile at people, or I take my mom to the store, or it could be, I'm a lawyer and I work for free to free, jailed people, or I protest, whatever it is. What are you doing? What are you doing to make the world a better place? It could be many things, but it's something that you consciously do. That you go, I do this because I want our life to be better. Be intentional. Okay, that means
because some people are intentionally assholes, and I'm telling you that when they're intentionally doing that, it does not seem positive at all. But I get what.
Does that just mean like be aware of what you're about? So yeah, Corey, by the way, says mushrooms make everything look and feel like when the Black Panther was trying to.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, mushrooms are like strong weed. That's pretty much
teach communication.
Yes. All right. Oh, sweet. Yeah, I mean, and that's important. I think for me the biggest thing, communication is so freaking difficult. Like most people, they cannot self-reflect. They cannot. They don't know how to self-evaluate and to go, okay, I was wrong, or okay, let me look at this a different direction,
right.
Or it's like I think that's the biggest thing with
volunteer.
Yes.
Go ahead. That's the biggest thing.
But not for the white supremacist organization.
No, not at all.
Volunteer.
But you know what I did one year? We did it a couple years actually with my kids when they were younger. I did it for two reasons. One, so they can appreciate life, but also to understand how the world can be. We went down to a shelter and handed out food to people for, it was either Thanksgiving or Christmas, one of the two.
Nice.
And we took them down there so they can hand out food to people and just so they could see that there are people in the world that do need our help, and that this is how you can help people by even the small thing. Just a meal makes a big difference.
Although I will say the one thing that really pissed me off, it didn't, and I could see how it could disillusion a regular person, how it could disillusion people and make them really cynical and upset. And I made sure it didn't. But when I was like, I don't know, 18, somewhere between 17 and 19, I had somebody I knew there was some sort of a Thanksgiving for like old people, or like a trailer park, or like an old thing. Like it was like one of those things where like, like a senior home or something like that, where they had this big thing. And I helped with that for whatever reason. It was somebody I knew or something. And afterward, I asked if I could take all the leftovers. So they said, sure. So I took all the leftovers and I took it down. This is in Santa Cruz, where I'm from. And I took it down to the homeless people.
Nice.
So I made these little plates of like Thanksgiving, and I took it down and I'd give it to homeless people, and there was 2 separate people that I said, hey, and they get the fuck away from me with your fucking food, and I was like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
2 separate people were I was like, wow.
Man.
And I could see how people were like, fuck this homeless guy, but I was just like, whatever, asshole, like, leave.
Hey.
But it's like, it wasn't everybody.
No, that's
but
true.
there were a couple guys that were like, they were pissed that it wasn't crack or something. I don't know what the deal was. Maybe they just didn't like that they were being patronized or something.
And see, at that point, you come on now. You can't. It's like the term beggars can't be choosy. Beggars can't be choosers. And at that point, you just kind of walk away because I can't get mad at because let me tell you something. What people don't get is that because you don't know how the mental state of these people, like especially in Los Angeles, these tent cities, man. I can't even wrap my brain around that type of life. So
Right.
I always give it. I'm like, hey, if you're in a bad mood, because that has to be weighing on you.
And Laura says mental illness. Absolutely. I mean, the guy could have been schizophrenic or paranoid.
Yeah.
It could have been anything. But I had to not be cynical. I had to go, okay, this dude's got his reasons.
Yeah.
Like there's an old saying talking about communication. I mean, I'm gonna jack up the saying, but basically it's you don't know what other people's struggles are.
Right. Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah, most
Right.
definitely.
So you can't judge people based on the way you'd react. You have to try to go, well what reason could they have for reacting that way? And it's like my wife drives my wife nuts sometimes because she's like, how can you continue to be nice to this guy who's completely screwed you over a billion times? And I'm like, because I know he's going to screw me over. And because
Right.
I know he screws everybody over because that's his nature. So yeah, I distance myself, but I don't expect anything from that guy.
Right.
So when I do something,
Even though I
on the
will tell you,
random,
certain people I won't mess with.
well, right,
anymore.
and sometimes for sure, but sometimes when you have to deal with somebody for
Right.
whatever reason, you just expect them to be a certain way, and know that that's how they were, that's how they are, and they have to get over that, and you can't necessarily fault them. If there's something wrong with them or their upbringing or their psyche or their emotional status, whatever it was that got them to that point,
Right.
they're dealing with something that I don't fucking know. And it could be something dumb and trivial.
Well, yeah, but you also, like I said, I think part of the issue with me with those types of people are if they have a history of fucking people over, they obviously have been allowed to get away with fucking people over.
Right.
Like there's a booker in the Northwest, and this dude is when I say he is the epitome of a horrible person.
Right.
Like no one when people talk about him, they very rarely talk about this dude in the shining light at all. So
In the Northwest?
in the Northwest,
Do I know him?
you know him.
Okay.
You've seen him before, but he's had this history with doing this with people. So what I would do, and I would let people know if they would ask me about him, I would always give my opinion about the dude. You know, that whenever he was around, I was very cordial and be like, hey, how you doing? We shake hands. But I would immediately leave the room.
Right.
If I was performing, I do my set and I leave. Because that energy from that person was just so toxic.
Right.
You know? So and as opposed, and I wouldn't work with him anymore. Like
Right.
I just say, you know what? Because I can't deal with that anymore because I know eventually I am not going to just be nice. I am going to go off on you, and then I don't want to make it worse for me. So I stay away from those types of people. I've learned to do it more with Facebook, where I see people post stuff that I know I won't be able to get through to them, even if it's the most easiest shit to prove. I just started blocking people. And at first I used to feel bad about it, like, man, am I just giving up on this? And it's like, nah. In order for me to maintain a good attitude about life, and because I told you, man, for a while, I was my fucking doubts about humanity, bro, they've been shattered in these last couple of years.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not even gonna front, bro. They've been shattered. So in order for me to maintain a positive attitude on stuff and still smile at people and make people feel like things are great, what I try to do is I get rid of the toxic people, and then I try to stick more to the people that I can actually vibe with and be cool
Right.
with. Hey, Ruby, how you doing? So to me, I feel like you have to live in reality, which reality is we live in a harsh world, but here's also reality. You can change that. And I think I get what you're doing with this show. I get it. But it's also for people to understand that the power to change that is in you. Did you write this? Somebody posted a quote where it said, all you got to do is convince one person. Was that you today earlier? There was a quote from somebody that said, all you got to do is convince one person to be better, and then you've done your job, and then they can go on to another person, and they can help another person be better, and all of that stuff. But
I'm not sure. I did post a quote. I tagged
it was something like that.
Yeah.
It was something like that where it starts with one person.
Yeah.
You know, you make one person smile, and then they it really, the pay it forward thing really makes a difference.
And that goes in reverse.
Oh yeah,
and that's why I'm saying I want to, even all the negative shit, even all the Trump shit, even all kids in cages, all that sort of shit that's going on. I want to find the positive angle on it. By the way, I'll do a couple things. Chad says, Chad Silva says, he goes, I utter my mantra: try not to be an asshole today. He goes, then I attempt to execute. That's a good.
Try not to be an ass.
Try not to be an asshole. Then that's it. And then Corey says, does his name rhyme with dribble? No,
Nah.
Actually, I know who you're. Obviously, I'm not going to call him out. The dude that you're talking about. Shitty gig, shitty pay.
Taylor.
You gotta drive.
Last name.
Oh yeah, Taylor. Oh yeah.
What up, Chris?
But it's like I get who Corey's talking about. But I've never had him be an asshole to me.
Triple?
Yeah.
No,
he's actually been super cool.
I can say that too.
But
I
always
also don't work for him like that.
But then again, it was like I get where it's like, so Monday you're going to be in Idaho, then you have to drive 18 hours to the east of Montana on Tuesday. Then you got to be back Tuesday night. What the fuck?
I never did a triple run.
I get it. And it's like, and you make $400. But
I never did it.
But you know what though? I mean, he never did me wrong. He never didn't pay me. He never did anything. And I agreed to those. So some of the gigs were really fun. Some of them sucked.
That's what I will tell you this.
Some of those one-nighters are fun as hell, man.
People ask me this all the time about stand-up, and I'm like, I do miss certain parts about the early days of my career. I do. It's just like you just said, like some of those early gigs, even though they were shitty to get to, the money wasn't great, whatever. But the gigs themselves were fucking awesome. That's why I always thought about doing a triple run.
Dude, Missoula, Montana, he had a club there, a gig that lasted forever. It was a college town, but it was like a hot college town. That place would be packed every freaking Tuesday or whatever it was. Yeah. It was crazy. It was fun.
I remember the elephant.
Of course, if I ever see him in person, I'm swinging on him.
Hilarious.
Man, I got to hear this story. I got to find.
I remember Elephant Castle in Ellensburg. No.
I remember that place in
Washington. Bellingham, Washington. Man. Oh my God. It was one of the funniest stories from that. Yep. Is we were doing the Seattle competition, and I tell my boy Trav this all the time. They were doing a Seattle competition, and it was like 13, 14 contestants, right? 13 contestants. And I kid you not,
audience?
dude. No, the audience is packed. But Trav is, it's his thing. Trav is it's funny that we're talking about positivity. Trav is one of them people, man, that at one point he was Mr. Positive about everything. It's like, don't sweat that shit. Don't sweat none of that. Come on, man, relax. So we're doing the competition, and he came in 12th. No, I'm sorry, he came in 13th. So it's 13 people competing. He came in 13th. And all he kept saying was, 12? 12 time? 12 motherfuckers was funnier than me tonight? Huh? You telling me 12 motherfuckers was funnier than me in here tonight? And that's the whole, and the drive back from Bellingham to Tacoma is like 2.5 hours. And so every 5 minutes, he was like, 12. 12 motherfuckers you told me.
I'll tell you one of the things that stuck with me for a long time in my comedy career. Daryl Lennox. Mm-hmm. Okay. So Daryl Lennox and I did the San Francisco comedy competition together in 2000.
I got a funny Daryl Lennox story.
It was the big, at the time. I mean, the San Francisco comedy competition had kind of taken a shit.
Right.
But 2000 was like, it's the millennium. It's this big thing, and it was just kind of like, it was a little bit to it. I think I felt like, 2000, this is like the big one. It's gonna be a good one, Daryl won it that year, by the way. But the very first night of the finals or the semifinals or whatever it was that I was in with him, the very first night we were in Reno, and I had decided to do my 10 minutes or whatever it was, just impressions.
Right.
So I went out and I did just impressions, which you would think would go good because I did like 50 impressions in 10 minutes, like boom, and I got dead last, and I'm like, maybe because they didn't think it was funny or I don't know what the deal was, but I got dead last. The next night we're in like Menlo Park at some college or something like that, and I said, I'm going to do something different. and I went up and did a completely different set, just did comedy, took first. And Daryl came up to me, he goes, that was the coolest shit I've ever seen. He goes, he's like, last night, he goes, what you did was good. He goes, and nobody appreciated it. He goes, dead last. He goes, tonight, he goes, you came out like, fuck all y'all. He goes, and you just fucked everybody up tonight. He goes, you completely flipped a switch, and you just fucked everybody up tonight. He's like, he kept, for like the whole week, he kept going, that was the coolest shit I've ever seen, man. He's like, he goes, the way you just turned it on and just changed what you did. He's like, I've never seen. And he kept praising me. I was like, damn, this guy. And then he ended up winning the whole competition. And Daryl's hilarious.
Awesome.
But that was and I was still pretty. I mean, 2000, I was pretty young. But it's like,
Daryl's awesome.
And I was like, that was one of the things that for years I was like, I felt really good because I really looked up to Daryl Lennox. You know.
I'll tell you early Lennox story. I can look back on it now because I was a totally different person then. But I was doing a gig in Canada, and I think I'd met Daryl once, maybe twice when he had come to Seattle or something like that. So I was brand new kind of in the business. And so I'd had a great set. It was Canada. Man, I'm in Canada, bro. Right. I want to go hang out, Vancouver, right? So I finished my set, and to be honest with you, I was happy about the set because I was always like business. Let me handle my business. But after the show was over with, I'm like, yo, I came up here to hang out, right? So I'm about to leave. And so I go to Daryl. I'm like, yo, man, it was good seeing you, bro. Thanks for checking out the set. And I was like, I'm going to head out. And he's like, you about to go chase some pussy? And I'm like, what? He's like, you about to go chase some pussy. And I'm like, well, what are you talking about? He's like, you just got off stage, and now you about to go out here. And I was like, I'm going to go out? Yeah. And he's like, well, you should be working on your jokes. And I'm like, motherfucker. So every time, dude, every single time I would think about going out from that point forward, every single time, Daryl's voice would be in my head. Yeah. And I'd be like, all right, I should be working on these jokes.
Working on my jokes.
I got to be working on my jokes, bro. And I'm telling you, that's some of the best advice I ever got because it changed my whole perspective on the business part of this, on getting better as a stand-up, on getting better as a joke writer and a joke teller and a joke performer. So, and it's funny because now, like, I'm the old dude that being there telling these kids, you need to go work on them jokes.
And some people, you see their jokes are so bad, you're like, you know what? Go find some girls.
Yeah. You need to relieve your stress, bro. You need to work it out. What up, Andrew? What up, Lewis?
Jokes aren't working for you. Let's find something else.
So the theme today is positivity.
And what are you doing out there? If anyone's joining, let us know. What do you do to change the world? What do you do every day? What do you do consciously to make the world a better place?
Or what do you want to think about doing?
What would you like to do?
Sometimes it's easier because
But again, it doesn't have to be you. What do you do? You smile. You let somebody in traffic. Right. It could be a big thing. It could be a little thing. But what do you think when you say to yourself, "I'm doing this to make again, even if it sounds self-serving and narcissistic."
I'm nice to all nerdy white guys.
There
all
you
of
go.
them.
That's it.
I'm nice to every last one of them now.
And Ty actually goes like this.
I do the Carlton dance in front of them just so they know. Hey, you guys, it's not unusual. Sorry. I can't even do that. I can't even fake.
And then he ends every conversation with Big Bang Theory.
Droids, and whatever cosplay. I don't know what that is.
Whatever it is you guys do, comic books.
Come on.
Hey, Kevin Smith. I don't know.
But like I said, man, you know what's cool though is music. You know what? Here's the thing, music to me is one of those things. I watch Melt live. Oh, hilarious! I love it. Nice plug there, Mel. Nice plug. But I'm telling you, man, it's amazing. Is it endorphins? Was it happy feeling?
Yeah,
endorphins, right?
Dopamine,
like all these things. Like this, it's amazing. Like the slightest thing will make you feel like that. Like you ever like a song, a movie, a memory. All of these different things. You know what does it for me? New York, bro.
Yeah.
Anytime, like I'm feeling in blah, whatever. I think of New York. If you come, you've been in the house. There are, if I can think off the top of my head, almost every room. And every part has a reminder of New York. And I do that for myself, because I know there'll be times I'll be sitting there like, and I can look up and I can see the skyline right there. I can see a city street. So those are the things that make me feel better. So I always, when I talk about the city, I always try to tell people like, yo, you should go and take a trip. That's another thing people don't do that they should do more, and that way it can help you feel better. Go out and get these other experiences in your life. Go out, travel the world, leave your city, because if you're just in your area and all you know is your area, that's not a bad thing. It just means that you haven't.
I will go out and say it's a bad thing. Yeah, by the way,
Why?
Mike, I shoplift from Gelson's in Palisades whenever possible.
Okay, you're not a bad person for that.
You're paying
That
it
stuff is
for
high
it. You're
price.
paying it for it. But no, I mean, it is. You need to experience other people in other places. You have to. You cannot just stay in your little tiny town or wherever it is. Like that's the thing that drives me fucking nuts about when I talk to people. Again, trying to be positive, but when people when people are like, man, I hate the French. Or whatever, and it's like, oh, when did you go to France?
Get some of them fries.
Oh, never. Yeah, exactly. Well, I ate French dressing once on my salad, and that shit sucked. Like it's like you've never been anywhere. How would you know if you hate the fucking French? Like you don't even know what you're talking about. Like or
that'd
man,
be shitty. That'd be
all
shitty
you
though
people,
if he came back and he was like,
yeah,
I told you.
I told you I hate the French. And that's fine if you hate the French, okay, or whoever. But it's like you have to get out and see the world.
Yes.
Every single person I know that once they actually travel somewhere, they're like, that place is great. Oh, I'd love to go there. You have to meet new people. You have to get out of your fucking comfort zone. You have to. It makes you a better person.
And use your passport. I'm gonna tell you something, man. So much of my life has been shaped.
Yeah, Corey says most of the people that hate people have never met them. That's
Exactly. That's exactly it.
The number one thing that causes GOP people to become pro marriage equality is when they find out that somebody in their family's gay. The number one thing is like all of a sudden their grandson is gay and they're like, oh well, maybe I'll stop hating my grandson. Like that's it. Just knowing somebody.
Exactly, and that's why I said like you have to have these experiences in your life just for you to have a good gauge of even what you want to do. Because I remember when I was 17, I had never left Chicago. I hadn't been on a plane until 17 when I joined the military. Didn't have a white friend until I joined the military. So I was pretty much an adult before I had someone that didn't look like me that I considered a friend. And that came from going to another area, having new experiences. And then hey man, let me tell you some of the best advice my granddad ever gave me. My granddad, because I thought I was going to always
write jokes.
Yeah, exactly. Is that right? Him and Daryl. But I thought I was going to always live in Chicago. I never thought about living anywhere else, ever. Right. And I thought, okay, I'm going to go to the military, do this, and then I'm coming back home. My granddad said, get the hell out of Chicago. Leave. He said, there's nothing for you here. Go and see the world. And let me tell you something. As a dude in his 40s, if I had to look at lists of, that's what we should talk about, like top 5 best advice you ever got in your life. But that's up there with some of the best advice I got because it helped shape my entire view, not only for what I see the world as, but for what I want for myself. For what I want for my kids, for what I want my kids to want for themselves. It makes a huge difference. Like you said, go out there and see the world so you can understand and be worldly. It makes a difference.
Yeah, and Corey, how was it you hate Mexicans in Iowa? Yeah. Well, I went to Taco Bell once, and man, I got real sick. So
Chinopa.
But it's yeah, you need to experience other people. You need to experience other cultures and spend some time there. I mean, yeah, a week or two is better than nothing. Right. But sometimes it's good just to move somewhere for a little bit. Yeah. Go somewhere for a couple of months and just experience. And don't always just experience the touristy thing. Like, oh, what'd you do? I went to Mexico. Oh, where'd you go? Oh, I went to the resort and rode the water slides for a week and came back. It's
Everybody
like, no.
That.
Go somewhere where you get to meet people, eat the food.
But don't
see the
go
culture.
to the head choppy offy part of Mexico. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't
Stay
go
away from that area.
Yeah, and there's a few places I'd say maybe don't vacation.
Yes.
Syria.
We should probably put those.
Syria is not a big destination I found for Iraq. Probably not a good spot right now. El Salvador. You know, you got to go in the right time of year.
Dominican Republic. Actually, you know what's funny is as I told my boy Harold, you know Harold.
Yeah.
He was talking about he's getting ready to go to the Dominican Republic. I'm like, bro, really? You don't know about all the shit that they doing over there? And he's like, shit, with all the stuff that's happening here, I ain't got no. It's no worse. So yeah, I've never been to the Dominican Republic, but people tell me that it's great. And but they say for the beaches and stuff like that.
Or go for the healthcare. That's
Yeah, right.
Nowadays people are going to the big one is everyone goes to Mexico for dental work.
Yeah, I heard it's
Mexico and
super
Costa
cheap.
Rica, and it's good. The other one I heard, like stem cell and stuff like that. I guess Panama is on fire, like killing it.
Wow.
Yeah. And so it's like you can go to Panama and get your.
What's that? Was that episode? You ever see the episode of Family Guy where Peter he eats too many burgers at once and he has a stroke, and so half his body is paralyzed, and so he's living the life through the episode of half his body is whatever. So he walks. He goes to across the street and it's a stem cell place.
Right.
He walks in, and he's in there for like less than 2 seconds. He comes out. He's like, "Oh, wow, how long was I in there?" He said, "Oh, probably maybe 2 seconds." And he's like, "Why is nobody funding this?" So, but here's the thing, man. Let me ask you this: where did you go? Where was the first place you visited that you had a misconception about that was changed for you when you got there for the positive?
That's
the thing.
okay. I would say I don't. That's a hard question because I don't really. I try not to have any idea of a place before I go to it. It's just. A few places. There's been parts of Mexico where I was like, "Ooh, they say it's scary. I shouldn't go there." And I go down. I'm like, "No, this is fine." Brazil. Brazil was rough, but it wasn't quite as rough. But I think the one that really threw me is I went to Hong Kong, and I had no desire to go to Hong Kong initially. We were going to Bali, and we had a 17-hour layover in Hong Kong.
Damn.
And I was like, and after a 14-hour flight, and I'm like, you know what? Why don't we just spend a couple of days in Hong Kong and check it out? So we spent 4 days in Hong Kong, and I ended up liking Hong Kong as much, if not better, than Bali for other reasons.
Wow.
But it's a huge city, obviously. But man, it's really. Oh, we're losing our connection here. Shoot, we lost the thing. But it's
Did we lose it?
Yeah, we lost it.
Okay.
Oh, we thought we did. We're starting again. Sorry, guys. For those of you out there.
It's all necessary to expand your worldview. Yes, it is.
And start live video again. For those of you who are listening in, we're starting a live video.
Yo. We're back.
But yeah, so I think when I went to Hong Kong, it was like, whoa, this place is really cool. It's really clean. It's really nice. It's easy to get around. The people were cool. People were
Was it cramped? Did it feel cramped?
You know, I mean, it's 30 million people in the city that seems like the size of San Francisco, but it didn't feel that cramped. No, I mean, and the main
How's the
cities.
food?
Food was good. I mean, the people, it's super clean. For that many people in that small of an area, it is crazy clean.
Where is it I heard that you can pee in the street if you're drunk?
That at Alabama?
No, I'm serious. I don't know where I heard it at. But they said, like, they don't. Oh, no, I think it actually, because my boy Harold was in Hong Kong or Japan,
Right.
one of the two. And he said they have very strict drug laws, but you can be drunk in public like that, and it's no big deal. Like, you can pee on the street if you're drunk like that. It's bananas.
I know the opposite. If you go to Singapore, you can't spit.
Damn.
You can't throw anything on the ground. You will get caned in Singapore. Yes.
Oof.
Yeah, you can't do any kind of littering, spitting, nothing on the ground.
Wait, so when you say NYC, Corey, you mean NYC, you went there thought it was going to be bad and it ended up being good?
I said every square inch smells like it.
But
I will say the one thing about New York does have a stench, man. It does stink.
It is, but let me tell you why it doesn't matter. Because it's still the best city in the country, bro. In the country.
You know what surprised me, which I really liked, was Chicago.
A lot of people say that.
Chicago was fantastic. I love
Chicago is my crib, and I still love it. But the downside to Chicago, I always tell people, is that I wish more of Chicago looked like that. It's only the north side of Chicago is the only area that looks like that. Like the south side doesn't look like that. The east side doesn't look like
Right.
that, and the west side definitely don't look like that. If it was like New York in the sense of like you can go to Brooklyn and
Right.
it's a good borough now, and I mean Queens, all this stuff, it was more spread out. Then it would be great because the north side of Chicago is fucking awesome. The restaurants are great. The scenery, the skyline is still one of my. I go between the two, between Chicago skyline and New York skyline being the best. My heart is with Chicago because I fell in love with skylines in downtown from Chicago. But then every time I see New York, bro, it's always so it's 1 and 2.
Although we did get we were taking a train and we got off the train for about an hour and got robbed. That was
that's
one
the
thing.
downside.
That was a
downside.
Pickpocket. Somebody pickpocketed my
Yeah,
wife's
you gotta give
purse.
it longer than that, bro. You gotta be there longer. Oh yeah, that's right, Janine. So oh yeah, she did get pickpocketed.
Pickpocketed.
But that's
stole all
part
the
of the
credit cards.
nostalgia.
All of a sudden, did you just spend $15,000 at Gucci?
Well. But that's
No.
part. But
Yeah.
that's part of the nostalgia.
Yeah,
She can
exactly.
say she's
Yeah.
had the full New York experience now.
Did you get robbed? Yes, I did. Well, welcome.
There you go.
I'll be your robber
You actually
today.
can stamp that on your passport.
Yes,
as
exactly.
part of your travel. So let's see. Wait a minute. So Mel says, "Okay, I'm back." Gelson's has 2 security guards today, and I had to be extra stealth. Jesus Christ, you are taking a chance stealing at Gelson's, but all right, that's cool. I'll bring the ribeyes over, but do not tell them where I live.
But yeah, so I think what we're talking about for those of you, because we had to stop and start, we had an internet connection. But those of you who are live, we've been talking about
Positivity.
What are you doing to make the world a better place? What are you doing to be
Yes.
positive in your life and in other people's
Spreading
lives?
love in the world.
And chime in. And if you don't chime in, think about it. Think about something that you
That
can
you
do on a
can
daily
do.
basis. Something you can do on a grant. And maybe you want to,
You know how
quit
far
wasting time with Area 51 and maybe put together a march to go.
you know how far love
take some
love
kids
goes.
away from the school.
Stop. I know. Love is a very powerful thing too. Telling somebody you love them. You know how I learned that from my mom. My mom taught me and my brother, like we said it as kids and we say it all to each other, but every conversation, every time I talk to my mom and my brother, it's like I love you. And I pass it on to my kids, the same thing.
Yeah.
But dude,
He does it to me. It's creepy.
you
Hi,
know,
man. Love you. What?
I do seriously. My friends that I love, I do want to say it to them more, but I know not everybody. I'm serious. Like,
Although you know what's funny is I say it so often to my kid and my wife when I'm on the phone
what up, Richard?
that sometimes it's almost how I say goodbye, and I've accidentally said it. I love
See-
you to like random people. And they're
Oh,
like,
see,
love
not,
you.
not,
I'm
not the
like,
randoms.
No,
Not
I've
the randoms.
accidentally said it before where I'm like, I love you. I was like, why did I just say
Nah,
I love you to the guy from fucking AT&T?
It's like,
What the?
okay.
like,
I
all right.
guess
It's like, love you too, bro.
He must love his plan a lot.
Yeah,
All right.
exactly.
It reminds me of that Brian Regan bit. It's like we said, have a good flight. He's like, you too. You too. Whenever you decide to get on a plane and fly, I swear. No, but I love you. It means a whole lot to me. And I say it to my friends. I would say it to Ian more, but I know he wouldn't say it back. Not as often. He'd probably say it if I was on my deathbed and be like, oh, by the way, Ty, I love you too.
Yeah.
See you at the crossroads. But
Fist bump.
Right.
Fist bump.
But I have no problem saying it, and that's how we grew up saying it. So I want my kids to be the same way, because that, you don't know. I'm telling you, man, to know somebody gives a fuck about you, bro, it makes a huge difference in the world, even if it's one person. But
Right.
if you know that one person cares about you and that they keep you in their thoughts, those are sometimes the things that help you move forward and help you be a better person because you know someone cares about your life, about your lifestyle, about your existence. So tell somebody that you love them. It's not, and and I know the dudes we got to do them like, you too, bro. You too, bro. You got to keep it like.
Well, I actually like what Kim said. She goes, my son says love to his homies when he hangs up the phone. That's actually kind of cool because you don't have to say I love you.
Yeah,
Just go I
love.
love. Like just giving.
That's
Spreading
a great one.
Spreading generic love.
That's
Okay,
it.
I like that.
That's a good one.
That's
But
what
no,
I'm saying.
see, that's what I'm saying.
Generic love.
To
That's
hear, but people don't understand. That's a big deal, though.
Which
so
is
you
my
hear the
80s rap
word
name.
love, hilarious. You hear love. The last words you heard before you got off the phone with them is love. So now you take that word forward to somebody else and you say the same thing to them. It makes a huge difference. I'm telling you. It makes it. That's the thing. Hashtag love. That's what we're going to hashtag love. Tell somebody you love them.
And we're gonna do our best to keep this positive. Even when we're talking about horrible, disgusting shit that's happening in the world, we're gonna find a way to find the positive spin. And what can we do to make that make that better? That's what we're gonna do from now on.
Let me tell you something. Kira Sultanovich did, and I forgot the comedian that started it, but it happened after, unfortunately, like a comedian had. It was after, I think it was after Brody.
After Brody died.
After Brody died. But what they did was, what's up, Jason? What they did was, they wanted to start this thing to check on comedians and start like a wellness type thing.
Oh, yeah.
And so they said, go through your phone, just your contacts, the first name you pick, call that person, and just say hey and check on them. And I was the person that Kira called. And I forgot I paid it forward to somebody. I forgot who I did it to, but that's what I did. It was like a thing where you just call somebody. It's like, hey, what's up? How you doing? I just wanted to check on you, see how you are, and that's it. Even that little thing.
Here's the downside of that. If you happen to be the 10th person in a row that everybody randomly calls, you'd be like, man, do people think I'm
hilarious?
You start getting a complex. Hilarious. Why is everybody calling me asking if I'm okay?
This is an intervention for you, sir. But even little things like that.
Yeah.
You know?
So do that actually, and do that. Do that to anybody right now. Like just your friends, make sure. Keep it positive. Talk to give somebody you haven't talked to in a while a call. Let them know what's up. And like I said, the biggest thing, keeping it positive. And another thing, my positivity, we have got to vote. Was that?
I say you can tell this is hard. It's hard for me. I want to talk about this other shit too, but I'm like, no, keep it positive.
But here's the thing: positivity. Go vote, man.
You're right. You're right.
Get people out. Get people involved, and let's do something because we don't have much time left if we don't do something. They said that I just.
Oh, that's what we did say we were gonna do. We're gonna make sure to mention the vote every time.
Permafrost is completely gone in Siberia in certain places. They're saying like a whole woolly mammoths are popping up unfrozen, like crazy stuff. They said that it was at Iceland that all the ice is melting, like it's almost all gone. We need to do something about this, and the people in power right now are not. So you have to vote if you give a crap about yourself, if you give a crap about your neighbor, your daughter, your son, your nephew. It doesn't matter. You have to get out. And you have to vote, and you have to do something, and you have to take a stand. We have got to be better people to the environment, to the world, to each other. And it starts with getting off your ass and actually fucking doing something.
Your word means have more power. That's what I tell my kids. I make sure I get them to understand this. You guys, your voice means something. Don't let people tell you that it doesn't. They want the people that will try to convince you that it doesn't. They don't want you to use your voice. But we can fix all of this stuff that's going on now. We can change a lot of this stuff for the better. And I know the theme of the show has been positivity. And that's what understand something, man. Sunny days, there's a reason why sunny days make you feel better. There's a reason why music makes you feel better, a good meal, all of these types of things, because they are things that are great. And in order for you to have these things the way you want them, you can change that. You are the voice that can move that forward. Move that to other people, have other people care, have other people tell other people to care, and then we can shift a lot of the negative shit into positive shit and make sure that people are able to enjoy the same lifestyle, because that's what we, as long as you're living within reason, that's what we all should be allowed to do. Who doesn't like a good meal? Who doesn't like a good movie? Who doesn't like a good song or a nice glass of wine staring out at the mountains or some shit like that? Those are all things that's capable of happening.
Unless you're an alcoholic, then don't.
Hilarious.
But that is actually
drink some water.
In that case, just some water and some food or something. And that's pretty much it. We got to get going. But thank you, everybody. Comedian Ty Barnett.
Oh yes, sorry. You can find me at comediantybarnett.com. You know how long it took me, by the way, to not say www.
Yeah, I know, right?
So comediantybarnett.com, which has links to all the other social media platforms. It has links to the web series. This is the bullshit I'm talking about. Links to the album and all that. You can find Ian.
IanHarrisComedian.com or SkepticComedian.com. And Yeah, I mean, hopefully Ty and I will be doing some more Divided Comedy Tour stuff coming up pretty
Yes.
soon. And if you keep a lookout for that.
We coming
but
to your city.
exactly. And here's the thing. Let's also, like I said, being positive, all that. Also, be positive to us and go on
That's right.
our download even if you watch it on Facebook, download this. If
Reach
you're
out
downloading it
and
right now and you're listening to us on iTunes,
somebody's
you're listening to us on Google Play, on Stitcher,
make this
please
world
rate
a
and
better
review
place.
our podcast. Rate and review. If you are watching it on Facebook, go and download it. It's free. Then you can throw it away. At least we get the download.
Subscribe
That's what we
to
want is
us.
the download, the listen if you
Give
have
us
it.
some fucking money.
And also,
It's a must. Sorry.
and also, if you want to help us support us so we can keep doing this, patreon.com/critical and thinking. Share the love. I'm going to say right now, I love y'all.
See, you got him to say it. Love, bro.
Love.
Peace.
Out.